Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to a late night Major League Baseball playoff edition of the Raw Prospect Podcast. My name is Michael Ween, here, 10:39 p.m. Central Time in Houston, Texas, after my New York Yankees. Yes, I am the resident New York Yankees fan on this podcast. Advance to the American League Championship Series by defeating the Kansas City Royals in the American League Division Series 3-1 in a best-of-5 series in which there's a lot to discuss. I will be giving my full recap and takeaways from the New York Yankees advancing to the ALCS, my thoughts on a potential matchup between against either the Cleveland Guardians or the Detroit Tigers, who will face off in a pivotal win-or-go-home Game 5 now, Saturday night, as the Guardians got a must-win today against the Tigers in Detroit to force a Game 5. And then I might give my thoughts on some other happenings in the postseason, including previewing tomorrow's huge Game 5 in the NLDS between the Dodgers and the Padres back at Dodger Stadium. But first, going solo tonight, I'm going to give you my takeaways from the New York Yankees once again defeating the Kansas City Royals in a business-like fashion, 3-1 in this series to advance to the ALCS, where they will host the first 2 games and have home field advantage, at least to start out with, which is huge, and look to get back to the World Series for the first time since 2009. Us Yankees fans have been waiting for this World Series drought to end. And we're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but this might be the year that it happens. The Yankees have a golden opportunity, and they need to capitalize on it, whether it's the Guardians or the Tigers. I like both matchups for the Yanks, but this was a business-like performance after losing Game 2. A Game 2 in which Carlos Rodon pitched well for the first 3 innings. Those first 3 innings in Game 2 at Yankee Stadium were some of the best innings that I had seen Carlos Rodon pitch in his first 2 years as a Yankee. That was the guy that the Yankees paid $160 million to be the number 2, to be the guy right behind Garrett Cole as the bona fide number 2 guy in this pitching staff. But things got a little wacky, got out of hand, and unfortunately he didn't even make it through the 4th inning, if I'm remembering correctly, and the Yankees lost that game by a score of 4-2. I think Jazz Chisholm made it a little more interesting in the 9th inning with a solo home run, really his only contribution to this series. I know he had a walk tonight, but he wasn't great, although he did, I have to give him credit, he did make some nice plays at third base. It's a new position for him. He's only been playing it a couple months since coming over in the trade from the Marlins at the trade deadline. They have him at the hot corner, and he's played solid defense at third base. So I do have to give him credit for that. But, again, this was a business-like performance after losing that Game 2 to go on the road and to win 2 close games. To win yesterday, 3-2, in a game in which Giancarlo Stanton, who we're going to talk a lot about, came up big in his Yankees postseason career once again with a go-ahead solo home run out to left field in the 8th inning. Huge. And then again tonight with an RBI single to extend the Yankees' lead from 2-0 to 3-0. Gave them an extra run, which kind of mattered in the end. Okay? He played huge in this series, but to go on the road in Kansas City, hostile environment, and win these two games, win yesterday 3-2, win today 3-1, great job by the New York Yankees. You had to win this series. Your payroll is over 3 times the Kansas City Royals. And you took care of business. So, good job. Celebrate tonight, Yankees fans. And then tomorrow we clear our brains. We get ready for Saturday night's pivotal Game 5 ALDS matchup between the Tigers and Guardians to determine who the Yankees will play. And by the time that game is over, your mind focuses in on 4 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what the Yankees need to advance to their first World Series appearance since 2009. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, 3 major takeaways from this series, okay? Number 1, Giancarlo Stanton. Once again, coming up huge as a Yankee in the postseason. Mainly in the past 2 games. Games that the Yankees really needed to win. In this series, against the Kansas City Royals, 4 games at DH for Giancarlo. Over the 4 games, he finishes with a .375 average, a .444 on base percentage, a .688 slugging percentage, 2 doubles, 1 home run, which was a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning yesterday in Game 3, and 4 RBIs, including 1 RBI single tonight, to once again tack on another run for the Yankees in the middle innings. He also had another hit tonight, and he had a stolen base, which I don't think the Royals ever expected yesterday. So again, .375 average, .444 on base percentage, a .688 slugging percentage, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, a stolen base. Giancarlo Stanton came up fucking huge in this series, and he was the Yankees' offensive MVP and the team MVP, period. Thank you, Giancarlo Stanton. What have been the Yankees fans' criticisms of Giancarlo Stanton over the last 5 years? Number 1, he's really struggled to stay healthy. Okay? Now, you have to give him credit because the work that he put in to slim down and get his body as in shape as he could this past offseason, to stay as healthy as he has in a long while for the Yankees this season, only missing about a month, staying healthy for the rest of the season and being postseason ready and being the Yankees' offensive MVP, tons of credit to Giancarlo Stanton. He was great. Great in this postseason series. He drove the Yankees' offense, especially in the last 2 games on the road. But what have been the criticisms? Hasn't stayed healthy. Is really, at this point in his career, a 2 true outcomes guy. Home run or strikeout. And he's really kind of a streaky hitter. He has hot streaks, which are really hot streaks. And then he has moments at the plate, wild swings, at balls out of the zone, where he just looks lost. So he's kind of a streaky hitter, can't stay healthy. At this point in his career, doesn't contribute on defense because he can't play the outfield because of his struggles to stay healthy. His body just won't allow him to do it on a consistent basis. Sometimes he can clog up the middle of the lineup if he's not being productive as the DH. Doesn't give the Yankees a whole lot of versatility. And he's not a very good base runner. It's just the facts. He's pretty slow. He's a station-to-station kind of base runner. He's not a threat on the bases. He's not really a threat to take the extra base. He's not a threat to score, on a ball in the gap from first to home. Those have been the criticisms of Giancarlo Stanton throughout his Yankees career. And that's a lot. But where you have to give Giancarlo credit is time and time again now in his Yankees postseason career, he has come through for this team. And in this series, once again against the Royals, he hit .375, best on the Yankees in this series. He had a .444 on base percentage. Awesome. If I had to guess, that was probably highest on the Yankees. A .688 slugging percentage with the go-ahead home run yesterday. 2 doubles and 4 RBIs. Awesome series by Giancarlo Stanton. Awesome series. He is the Yankees MVP of this series. Awesome series by Giancarlo Stanton. Okay? He finishes this series with a 1.132 OPS. We will take that. He one-dotted in this series. We will take that every day of the week, Giancarlo. Fantastic job when it's all said and done by Giancarlo Stanton. He is no doubt the MVP of this series. Now, aside from Giancarlo Stanton, in my opinion, the group of Yankees that deserve the most credit for winning this series, for what they were able to do over the course of 4 games, is the Yankees bullpen. And it's 3 guys in particular that have to get shout-outs here, as they were absolutely fantastic in this series. Tommy Kahnle, Clay Holmes, who was hated by Yankees fans coming into this series because of his struggles this season in a closer role in which he blew 13 saves, which I believe ties a Yankees record for a regular season blown saves by a closer. And Luke Weaver. Holy shit, Luke Weaver. What a dominant performance over this ALDS. Those 3 guys were absolutely nails for this bullpen, this series. In this ALDS, this Yankees bullpen goes 15.2 innings pitched over the course of the 4 games, giving up 0 earned runs, 15 strikeouts, only 4 walks, a 51.3 ground ball percentage, 0 home runs, and they allowed a 148 batting average against with only 8 hits. 15.2 innings pitched, scoreless. Perfect by this Yankees bullpen. If you want to look at, in the history of baseball, the most innings pitched by a bullpen with 0 earned runs in a postseason series for a singular team. The 1991 Twins in the ALCS against Toronto, where they went 18.1 innings pitched in that series, giving up 0 earned runs. The second most innings pitched, giving up 0 earned runs in a postseason series. The 2017 Dodgers in the NLCS against the Cubs. 17 innings pitched, no earned runs. And then the third most innings pitched in a postseason series, giving up 0 earned runs by a bullpen. This 2024 Yankees team, 15.2 innings pitched in the ALDS against Kansas City with 0 earned runs. Fantastic job by Tommy Kahnle. Throw your good pitch. Throw your changeup. And that's what he did. Clay Holmes, awesome job. Aside from Garrett Cole in this series, Clay Holmes pitched the most innings out of any Yankees pitcher and didn't allow a single earned run. And he's been fantastic for the most part since he was removed from the closer role. And then Luke Weaver absolutely nails as the closer of this Yankees team. As the highest leverage guy in this Yankees bullpen, he has emerged over the last month or two of the season as a dominant guy in the back end of this bullpen. Yesterday getting the 5-out save, and then today in the 9th inning, up 3-1. With really the heart of the Kansas City order coming to the plate. With Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, and Yuli Gurriel, who have been a problem for the Yankees in this series. Luke Weaver, on 9 pitches, goes strikeout, strikeout, pop-up. Effective 1-2-3, get it over with. Attack the zone. He was virtually perfect over the last 2 days. Okay? Locating his fastball where he wanted it and locating his pitches, executing. Perfect job by Luke Weaver. Play the song Dream Weaver tonight, Yankees fans, and celebrate what Luke Weaver has become for this Yankees team. Ultimately getting 3 saves in this series. 3 saves. Awesome job. All 3 saves by Luke Weaver. Dominant yesterday and today on the road in a hostile environment, shutting it down against the heart of their order. Clay Holmes, once again, throw your sinker. It's been working, and he's been fantastic since moving out of the closer role. Highly criticized coming into these playoffs. Some Yankees fans, including myself, were very uncomfortable putting Clay Holmes in any of these games going into it, based on what we had seen in the regular season. The Yankees' infield defense hadn't been great, and he's a guy that pitches to soft contact. But fantastic job by Clay Holmes. Throwing and locating that sinker. Throw your best pitch. Same thing with Tommy Kahnle. Throw the changeup. Play to your strengths. But this Yankees bullpen deserves a ton of credit for what they have done so far in this postseason. Absolute nails. Those 3 guys. Wow. The Luke Weaver became the first Yankee with the postseason 5-out save since Aroldis Chapman in 2019. Absolutely awesome job by this Yankees bullpen. It can't be overstated enough. 15.2 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts. That's basically a strikeout per inning pitched by this bullpen. 0 earned runs and a 148 batting average against. And then lastly, you have to give a big shout out to our ace, Garrett Cole, for what he was able to do tonight. Elimination game. One of the hardest games to win in postseason baseball. Your job as the ace of the New York Yankees is to go out and shove, to shut it down, to win this game tonight, to not even chance a Game 5 in the Bronx. And what did Garrett Cole do? As he does very often in his career, as he's done very often in his career, especially in the division series, where he's 8-1 with a 2.05 ERA in his career in the division series. One of the best pitchers of our generation. What did our ace do? 7 innings pitched, 6 hits given up, only 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, no walks. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. That is a big boy performance by Gerrit Cole. There were a couple scary swings, but he kept them in the ballpark. He pitched to contact. He got quick outs when he needed to. And he located his pitches. He located the fastball. He located the cutter. And for the most part, when he needed to, he snapped the curveball. He snapped the knuckle curve. Got some swings and misses. Was much better than he was in Game 1. When this Yankee team really needs Gerrit Cole, for the most part, he's come up big. And that's why he's the ace of this team. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. That's a big boy elimination game performance to shut this Royals offense for the most part down by Gerrit Cole. Awesome job by our ace, Gerrit Cole. That's what you do as the ace of the New York Yankees. So overall, a business-like performance by the New York Yankees to win this series and advance to the American League Championship Series, where they will once again await the winner of either the Guardians of Cleveland or the Tigers of Detroit, who will play Game 5 of their series. I believe it will be Saturday night or Saturday evening to determine who the Yankees will face in the American League Division Series. And then the Division Series will start on Monday night at Yankee Stadium. Get ready, Yankees fans. It's going to be a lot of fun. But great job by the Yankees. And before we move on, big time respect to a very worthy American League Division Series opponent in the Kansas City Royals. Huge respect for what the Royals accomplished this season, and they have a very bright future with some of their young talent. You end up, after losing, I believe it was 106 games a year ago. You go 56-106 last year. Not a lot of hope from the national baseball pundits for a lot of success coming into this season. Nobody really expected the Royals to accomplish anything really close to what they accomplished this season. 86 wins this year in a division in the American League Central that ended up being very good. I mean, 2 teams right now are going at it in the American League Division Series. They're going to a Game 5, as I've mentioned. The Cleveland Guardians once again won the division. They've been very solid in the regular season over the last half-decade. We've seen them in the playoffs many, many times. The Detroit Tigers, no offense to the Royals, are probably even a bigger surprise than the Royals. 8 games under 500 at the trade deadline. They trade their ace to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They sell at the deadline. But they've gone on a magical run with a lot of their young talent, and Tariq Skubal, who is the no doubt unanimous American League Cy Young in my opinion. And then the Kansas City Royals, winning 86 games, 86-76, finishing second in the division, going 45-36 at home. The emergence of Bobby Witt. What Pasquantino has provided them when he's been healthy, although I know he missed a chunk of the season. Salvador Perez still producing in the latter stages of his career. They got good pitching. Good enough pitching from Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans, right? And Michael Walker. Really good job. And a lot of credit to this Kansas City organization for having a really good season. They end up going into Baltimore, holding Baltimore to 1 run. That explosive offense, right? That lineup. Pitching does its job. They score enough. Bobby Witt Jr. comes up big in that series. He's going to finish second in the MVP voting to Aaron Judge. What a great season he had, leading the American League in batting average. You win that American League wildcard series, and that's more than anybody expected of the Royals coming into this season. And then, in each of these 4 games, you keep it close with the Yankees. You give them all that they could really ask for. Very classy, solid baseball performance by the Kansas City Royals. I know their fans probably wanted more, but very successful season. They overachieved this season, the Kansas City Royals did. So, as myself, a classier Yankees fans than some, I want to congratulate and really give a ton of credit to what the Kansas City Royals accomplished this season. They have a lot to build on and a lot to look forward to in the future. Great job by the Royals. Ultimately, the Yankees, though, advance to the American League Championship Series, winning it in 4 games, which is awesome. Celebrate tonight. You have a travel day back to New York either tonight or tomorrow. I don't know when exactly that'll be. You get ready, kind of reset your minds, right? Get ready for Monday. Obviously watch or don't watch or just pay attention to what happened Saturday night between the Guardians and the Tigers in that Game 5 back in Cleveland. And then get ready for your opponent, whoever you're going to face in the American League Championship Series. The good thing about the Guardians forcing a Game 5 in that series for the Yankees is that, number one, if the Tigers win Game 5 and they advance, the Yankees will not have to face Tariq Skubal for the first 2 games of the American League Championship Series, because he is going to pitch Game 5, a pivotal Game 5 for the Tigers. And if he pitches on Saturday, he likely won't be available until Game 3, which will take place on Thursday next week. Right? Because it'll go Monday Game 1, Tuesday Game 2, off day, travel day, Wednesday, and then Game 3 would be the day that he would pitch. And that's big, because Tariq Skubal has yet to give up an earned run in this postseason. He's been absolute nails for the Detroit Tigers. He's the no doubt about it Cy Young this year. He's awesome. And, not having to face him in a potential Game 1 if the Tigers win is big. Not having to face their ace, not having to face the best pitcher in the majors potentially in either games in the Bronx is big. That's huge. And then same thing on the Guardians side. Like, they're probably going to have to use Class A again. And even though they'll have an off day if they win the series, they're going to have to use their pitchers. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be going for the Guardians. Let me go ahead and check that. See if they have that already determined for Saturday's Game 5 for Cleveland. Who's been their number 1 so far? Okay, they're undecided. But regardless, they're going to have to use a lot of their pitching. And you might not see necessarily their best in Game 1. So, I like it, man. I think it sets up very well for the Yankees. The fact that they were able to close it out in 4. And that if the Tigers win, you avoid Tariq Skubal until at least Game 3. That's huge. So I think it sets up well. and you get the American League Championship Series at home. Something the Yankees really haven't done, I don't think, in the time that I've really been a Yankees fan. The Yankees have to take advantage of this. 4 wins to get to the World Series. Let's take care of business. Now, before I wrap this thing up, a couple things I wanted to say. Number one, let's just get this out of the way. Aaron Judge struggled in this series. He did not have a good series from a hitting perspective. But in the last 2 games on the road, his at-bats looked better. He had a hard line out in his first at-bat yesterday to short. A great play by Bobby Witt Jr., a 114-mile-per-hour line out, which probably would have at least been a single, if not a double, in between shortstop and third base. He had, I think, 1 or 2 flyouts to the track yesterday. Some hard-hit balls. He also worked a walk later in that game. And then today, actually ends up having a pretty good day at the plate. He gets his first hit of the postseason. An extra base hit, a double, in which he ends up scoring. And he works 2 walks. He gets on base 3 times. And he finishes this series, even though he didn't hit, with a 389 on base percentage. We will take that from Aaron Judge if he's not hitting. So you didn't get a lot of the slug. You didn't get the Judge home run. You didn't get the Judge signature postseason moment necessarily in this series that we've all been waiting for him to have. But the last 2 games is something that I believe Judge will build on going into the American League Championship Series. But we do have to acknowledge, Judge did not have a great series. Just did not have a great series. He played good defense in center field, though. Made all the necessary plays in center field. So he stepped up a little tonight. He also had a stolen base tonight. He's looked better at the plate the last 2 games, even though the results all necessarily aren't there yet. But they need to be in this next series. So Judge needs to step it up a little bit. Austin Wells needs to step it up. If you're going to be hitting cleanup in between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, you can't be striking out 3 times. You can't be going 0 for 4. Get on base or hit. Or there need to be some lineup changes. Now, I like what Wells has done behind the plate with this pitching staff, especially the bullpen. Seems to know what he's doing in terms of calling games with this pitching staff and has done a good job. Defense behind home plate has been good. But the hitting in this series wasn't there. I need to see more from Austin Wells. And then I need more from Jazz Chisholm. Didn't have a great offensive series. Did work a walk tonight. Did have a home run, which didn't really matter in Game 2. But other than that, didn't do a whole lot in this series. Gonna need a better series from Jazz Chisholm. But I thought other than Giancarlo Stanton, I thought Juan Soto had a very good series. I believe he had 3 hits in Game 1. He had an RBI single tonight. He got on base a lot. Worked walks. Just typical Juan Soto. Didn't really show the power, the home run power. But this wasn't a slugging kind of series for the Yankees. Good series by Juan Soto. Great series by Anthony Volpe. I don't know his final statistics, but his on base ends up being over 400 for the series, and that's really all we needed from Anthony Volpe. He had great plate discipline in this series and ends up getting a fair share of hits. He was very good. We need to continue to see that Anthony Volpe. That's the good Anthony Volpe. Okay? And Gleyber Torres also had a great series. He did his job at the leadoff spot. He had a home run that put the Yankees ahead, a 2-run home run in Game 1 that put the Yankees ahead. He had a big RBI single to tack on another run tonight. He was very good. Very, very good series from Gleyber Torres at the leadoff spot. So there were offensive contributions where we had to get them. They did enough. But ultimately, we need to see guys like Austin Wells, Aaron Judge, Jazz Chisholm have better series coming up in the American League Championship Series. But great job by Garrett Cole tonight. Awesome job. I just can't ultimately say enough about the New York Yankees bullpen. Luke Weaver as the closer. Dominant 5-out save yesterday. Dominant 9-pitch inning with 2 strikeouts against the heart of their order tonight. Locating the fastball. And Tommy Kahnle pitching to his strengths. Using his best pitch, which is the changeup. To get hitters off balance. To create soft contact. And then ultimately, Giancarlo Stanton was huge in the series. He's the Yankees MVP of the American League Division Series. They don't have that award for the Division Series, but here on this podcast, that's the award we're giving out. So, overall, again, that's really all there is to say. Great job by the New York Yankees. 3 wins down, 8 to go to accomplish our goal of winning World Series number 28. And the chase for 28 will continue on Monday night to begin the American League Championship Series in the Bronx against either the Cleveland Guardians or the Detroit Tigers. But that's going to wrap it up for tonight here on the Raw Prospect Podcast. Things got thrown out of whack with the Yankees game. Watching postseason baseball. Emmy's work schedule. So I decided that I'd come out here, recap the Yankees series, talk some postseason baseball, give my takeaways from the Yankees Division Series victory over the Kansas City Royals. And again, big credit to the Kansas City Royals for what they accomplished this season. But that's going to do it for tonight. Who knows? I might come on here this weekend, maybe sometime on Sunday, and do some more like ALCS previews. I think that's probably what I'll do. Why not? If you like what we do here on the Raw Prospect Podcast, make sure you like and subscribe. We'll have a couple more episodes of Deep in the Heart of Longhorn Sports tomorrow at some point. Whether I do them solo or do them with Emmy, that's yet to be determined. And just keep an eye out for content. You can find us in the live section of our YouTube page. Often you can find us on Instagram. We've started live streaming over there. You can find us on our Patreon channel. The link, I believe, is on our social media pages. And you can find us on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you like what we do here, make sure you like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. What we want to do here is we just want to create a community where we can talk sports. We again have 2 main parts to this channel. We have the Raw Prospect Podcast, and then we have Deep in the Heart of Longhorn Sports. And then for the rest of the postseason, I'll be doing these Yankee videos as we go forward. But this was our ALDS recap. Yankees win the series 4-1. We're moving on to the ALDS. Let's go Yankees, and we'll see you tomorrow on Deep in the Heart of Longhorn Sports. Go Yankees. Peace out.